Oh, and we're live.
Oh,
Yay, at long last. Great
finally.
goodness. We are live on YouTube. Usually we would be live on Facebook, and we are live to a degree on Facebook via YouTube. We had to do a workaround, people. So technical difficulties, but we here. And that's all that matters.
It's all that matters.
Yes, you can't keep a good woman down. Or when you can't keep two good women down. You might be able to keep one, but I suspect you won't be able to keep two.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you that are new, okay, so let me do it this way. Okay, so for everyone that is new, welcome to the social media scene. I am Alice Fuller, principal consultant at Share Social. And my illustrious co-host, go ahead and announce yourself so I can push some more buttons to make sure we can be seen and heard every place I desire for us to be so.
Why, sure. My name is Chatachi Egbu. I am a media professor, a filmmaker, a media maker in general, and I just absolutely love all things media. I'm also the host of Mediascope on Wednesdays. So thank you, Alice. Good to see you again.
Yes, again. I never heard anybody say again until Tavis Smiley. I was like, is that a South Carolina thing? It was like,
It must be again.
again. Who says that but him? And you. But no,
Well, I don't say that. I'm just being,
he does it. I'm like, he just really is stressing that AI in.
Well, it's the difference between people who say often and often.
Oh, all right. Okay. So nonetheless, this is not English, grammar class. We are here today to share with you social media news, social media updates, and all things that are popping on the social media scene. Thus, the name of the show, the social media scene. So this is a little different. Usually we're side by side, but today I'm going to be switching back and forth. And so we're going to make it work. That's what we're going to do. So let me get my notes because we're going to start off. We were on Facebook. We were trying to get on Facebook. And we're going to start with Facebook because for those of you that may be watching us at work, you may know by this point that there's a new, what do you call it? A new application. I guess it is a whole new application called Facebook. Well, it was called Facebook at Work. Now it's called Workplace by Facebook. So for those of you who get to work and the first thing you do is get a cup of coffee and then hop on Facebook, you can now do it and not be fired per se, technically, because Workplace is a new, how would I kind of describe it? It is a new communications tool for companies so that employees, bosses, managers, and everybody can talk amongst each other on a platform that you're already familiar with, which is Facebook. Now, if you're thinking, do I have to, well, how is this different than everything? How is this different from, what's the one that a lot of people use already?
Are you talking about Slack?
Slack, yes, Slack. If you're wondering how different is this from Slack, well, they're very, very, very similar as far as what their purposes are. Basically, with Facebook Work, you can share messages, you can share documents, the same types of interaction you would have on a tool like Slack. So there's no difference there. There may be a pricing difference though, because I don't know what the pricing of Slack is, nor do I know what the pricing of Facebook Work is.
But I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sure it'll be competitive, considering, Facebook always wants to be competitive.
Well, what do they live for competition?
Yeah, they live for competition. They do. So according to my notes here, there's at least 1,000 companies already using the new Workplace by Facebook. That says to me there are a lot of people that are interested, a lot of companies that are already interested in just buying into being on Facebook all day long. Now, here's the thing. For those of you that are saying, well, do I log in with my Facebook account already? No. And that might save you in the end. because you will have to create a new, this is a new thing. So you're going to have to create a new login for Facebook Workplace. So don't think you can just log in with your regular Facebook. You can't. You're going to have to create something new, something separate to log in for Facebook Workplace. And that might save you from making a little snafu that might get you fired. However, you can connect your personal profile to your new workplace account. I wouldn't suggest it because in my opinion, this is just setting people up. It's just setting people up. It really is. But for those companies, or if you're a small business and you've got probably, I don't know, maybe 50 to 100 employees or more, you may want to test it out, see how it works. You probably can cut down on excessive email. That's one thing that I'm hearing a lot of people say they like about Slack and about this particular tool. No more, just useless emails. You can bring in documents. However, it's not collaborative that way, like you can use a Google Doc. Not at all. But you can exchange ideas, have meetings. You can even use Facebook Live. You can create groups within, you can create an employee group within the interface. So the only thing that's lacking is gamification. And I hate to even mention it technically, because that'll be the next thing. So what say you, Tachi?
That I don't trust productivity apps on Facebook. I don't think it's the place for work type of stuff. I'm not that you cannot switch your image, not that you cannot switch what you do, but let's be real. Facebook, even though they're trying to venture into other things, they're really founded off of social connection. Mm-hmm. And that's what people see it as, regardless of how many people, you can really, businesses are on Facebook. People are doing things with Facebook. And that's happening, but it's not, to me, the place for productivity. Talk to me maybe in a few months, talk to me in, next year. That might be a different case. But again, we're looking at Facebook really trying to mine as much data from all of their users as possible. Why give them one more reason?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I concur. I do. I agree with you. I think if you're not careful with this, you're going to mess yourself up, getting a little too comfortable. And on the other end, the other reason why I'm really not, yaya siskumba about it is, once again, it's just one more way to get more data about what you do, because now you are literally on Facebook all day long. Now you're doing stuff for personal stuff. Usually you might hop on Facebook in the morning, hop on Facebook at night before you go to bed or whatever. And in the middle of that, you're doing other things, usually sometimes work related. And now you will be on Facebook at work so that Facebook can once again get more data about your company, about the employees, about what they do while they're on Facebook at work. I mean, it's just one more thing for Facebook to use as a marketing tool and as a big data tool, in my opinion. So I'm not.
Absolutely. Don't forget to switch in between, because now it's like I'm on podcast. So
I just did. I've been switching.
But it's not showing on YouTube.
It's a little late though.
It's not showing on YouTube that it's switching at all. So
once again, I can't. I'm doing what I can do.
That's fine.
So moving on to Facebook secret conversations. Hold on. Let's try this, because there we are. And so it is switching. There we go. Okay. So moving over to Facebook secret conversations. I kind of think this is one extra thing too. Now, on the surface of things, this sounds kind of cool. I give you that. It does sound cool. You've got conversations that are now encrypted from end to end between you and whoever you're doing Facebook Messenger with. That's cool on the surface of things. However, now that this is rolled out to everybody, I'm a little suspect of how people will use this not for good. You remember when not too long ago there was this big thing about Apple, and the government was trying to get into it was the FBI was trying to break into this phone, and they couldn't break into the phone.
Right, the whole San Francisco thing.
The whole San Francisco thing. Exactly. So because of the San Francisco thing, does this set it up wherein now the people that are going to use this for bad can now start communicating amongst each other? And according to Facebook, even Facebook says they can't break into these messages. The government can't do it. Facebook can't do it, so they say. But on the surface of things, this is great. But on the underlying thing about this that I don't like is the fact that if Facebook can't break into it, even though it's encrypted and by Facebook, and then if the government can't break into it and all the superpowers and all the super tools they have, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it sounds like, oh, this is cool. Nobody can see what we're talking about. That's the problem. Nobody can see what you're talking about. that's a problem. That could create more. It could create more issues, I think. Yes, I'm a big proponent of having some privacy, but there comes a time too, if you're going to be using tools for evil, you just, all your privacy needs to be made public. That's the only thing with that I really don't like about this. But here's the thing too. I suspect, what was it a millionaire? Was it Mark Cuban? Mark Cuban a couple of years ago was using this. Was he behind this thing called Whisper? It was kind of like Snapchat, wherein he was trying to create something similar, wherein you could send messages between you and someone else, and it would evaporate really quickly, kind of like with Snapchat. And even though you can do that with this new secret conversations, but if this becomes really, really popular, and which I suspect it will with this whole encryption, well, because I think WhatsApp has it now already, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a couple of other apps that do this. Will the powers that be use it for evil or for good? That's my only concern.
Do you want a real answer, or is this hypothetical?
That is so rhetorical. But yeah, if you want to give your 2 cents on it, please share.
Yes. Wherever there is something that could be used for evil, it will be used for evil. Human beings just don't have that much self-control. They really don't, particularly the ones who have in their head to do evil all the time. They don't have that much self-control. So yes, absolutely. Can it be used for a lot of good? Yes. But can it be used for evil? It most certainly will be.
And there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. So moving on to other topics. Now, before we leave Facebook, now it's funny because I've been hearing a lot of rumblings on social media, amongst social media experts and whatnots, about how Facebook fan pages are dead to some people and to some marketers, and they prefer to use Facebook groups because you're not at the mercy of the algorithms, blocking your content. You can really create a community, more of a community with the Facebook group. But here's the thing. So Facebook groups were becoming like the Holy Grail. But unfortunately, Facebook is now, or fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, is now testing putting ads in Facebook groups. That's something else I'm not happy to hear about. Not at all. What say you, Tachi?
Well, then if they're putting ads in the groups, first of all, this group is not for you to advertise with. There are all sorts of other ways that are outside of this specific group of people that I've aggregated for you to show advertising to people. You don't need to do it there. Number two, are we limiting it to public groups? Are they also then going to do secret and private groups as well?
Good point. Good point.
I don't like that at all, because the whole point of having a secret group is, or a private group, is because you only want XYZ people in there. So if you're coming in there to put ads, that means somebody else is in there, which is not what you want. I mean, technically somebody else could get in there anyway, but there's more of an attempt because you're trying to get advertising in there. And then number three, are you then going to apply the same algorithm to what happens in the groups, because now you've got advertising in there and you're trying to determine whether or not this is whether it's working, or whether, you know, if you're gaining traction. Of course you're going to, because you need to see if it's working within the group and to see, okay, we got X amount of views and so now you're going to not only have an algorithm, not only possibly have it open to private and secret groups, which is what people don't want in the first place. This is problematic. Leave groups alone. There has to be something that's sacred if you want people to continue to trust the platform for those types of things. If you only want public stuff, then you need to only, you know, take off those other options, which people will be upset about, and just probably go to other platforms for. I know when I'm in my Twitter, you know, there's several groups on Twitter that I'm in, you know, that have been formed. I don't want advertising in there because, you know, there are things that we're talking about and we don't need advertising in there. So I would say the same thing with Facebook. That's why Facebook still hasn't grown up yet. Facebook still has not grown up yet.
Well, I'm wondering this. Now, if you are the owner of a Facebook group, thus you can control who gets in them, especially if you've got a private group or a secret group or whatever. So you have the option to control who gets in and what gets in. Will you as the individual get to decide what kinds of ads will be in your group?
I can tell you that, no.
I'm like, well, look, like you always say, it's Facebook's baby. It's Facebook's property. We are on it for free 99, even if you're paying for ads. The reality of it is theirs. We do not own it. So even though you have established a group, you've established a community, if Facebook says we want to come in your little Facebook group and allow marketers to come in and sell stuff that's seemingly targeted to your audience, since you own our property and the rent is free, yeah, we may ask you permission, but the reality of it is we don't have to ask. We might just come right on in.
Exactly. I mean, but you have to think about it. Even though we're not paying rent, it's the same thing when you're renting a house. So the landlord just can't come in. They have to give you adequate notice. They just can't open the door whenever and come in and say, oh, we just came to check on how things are. I'm sorry, I'm taking a shower. So they're going to catch you in the process of taking a shower in some of these groups or something to that effect. And it's not going to be pretty, you know? And it doesn't mean anything bad is being discussed in groups at all. No, it's just you have a group because you don't necessarily want the public to know, or you want to entice people to join this collective of people doing the same thing, as opposed to just putting it out there on a feed. Let people have something. They're already making money off of advertising on other places in the platform. Why do you then also need to monetize the groups?
Okay, and here's the rationale behind it. Facebook says second quarter of 2016 earnings, they may reach pretty much, they're reaching capacity, in other words, where the news feed is concerned, and ads. So by this time 2017, around this time next year, it's like we're pretty much, we've created all these different ad buys, and now everybody is rushing to get into the news feed. You've got the banners, you've got the mobile, we've got ads everywhere. And you know what? We just may run out of space. The only space we got left is, you know what? Groups. And it's just like, really? You can't just leave groups alone? No, sorry. We own that too, so no. So I suspect in many instances, you know, Facebook, you keep messing with people, and you might see a grand exit, a major exodus of folk. But then too, the other thing of that is for as many people that leave Facebook, then people come right back on. So that's why I don't think they really are really thinking about, I mean, so what if you leave?
The drop off, I think, is minimal compared to the numbers of people. You're talking about 1.7 billion people on there.
Mhm.
Active users, I don't know, because not all 1.7 billion are active. There's some people who have accounts who just don't do anything. It just sits there. So even if you say there are like 300 million daily active users, which is a reasonable number to expect worldwide, even then, you know, I just think that there are something, I just think that even with at 300 million daily users, even if you lost like a good number of them, I still think that it doesn't affect them that much, even if you lost 50%, because the whole thing, the perception is 1.7 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest. Even though you can explain away, well, engagement isn't 1.7 billion. The people using it on a daily basis isn't 1.7 billion. That's all advertising. Advertisers seem to only care about the number only. Maybe engagement, of course, a little bit, but their big thing is how many followers, how many people are using. That doesn't matter if it's not a good percentage of the people that are registered for the product. So I just don't get sometimes the antiquated way of thinking with social media, but I digress. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I don't think Facebook is worried about a mass exodus, but what they do need to do is see where else they can do. I would almost rather before you stream for people who are using Facebook Live, I would almost rather that they have an ad then. So there's like a green room feature kind of, and before, while you're in the green room, before you're able to broadcast, they have the pre-roll ads, bam, you're able to go on. I would rather that.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what 2017 is going to bring. Because 2016 has been an evolution of a lot of things. We've seen a lot of changes with Facebook, Snap, formerly Snapchat. So it'll be interesting to see how everything kind of pans out in the new year. But that includes with LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn, speaking of people being late to a party, a little slow to evolve a little bit. Yeah. I think LinkedIn at this point is trying to catch up to a little.
They came with the Ciroc after everybody else. They ran into the last person leaving the party on the way out. That's what happened. They're like, oh, you're just now getting here. And it was the last person.
Oh, man. So, yeah. Well, they're trying. Okay. So the newest thing with LinkedIn, and I think we're going to see more focus on LinkedIn apps, because they already know, their data is already telling them that more and more people are engaging with LinkedIn via mobile phone. So these 3 new features, well, I wouldn't even really call them features, more like updates, somewhat updates, because most of these are applied to the app, not to what you're doing on desktop, just to the mobile app. So the 3 things that you can do better, quote unquote, now. 1, you can control your feed. Now, control your feed better means when you're scrolling through your LinkedIn feed, go up to that upper right-hand corner, click the little box, and now you have more control over the kinds of content that will end up in your feed. And I lately have been using that a lot, because the people that aren't on Facebook, and some that are, now they're coming over to LinkedIn and bringing, the deaths in the family. My husband died. It's our anniversary. The stuff that we would typically see on Facebook, some of it is beginning to really populate on my news. I don't. Do we call it news feed on LinkedIn? I think we do.
I think it is a news feed.
They call the news feed, timeline news feed is all the same thing. So what I find myself doing almost every day, sometimes 3-4 times throughout the day, is going through it. Up. I don't need to know about you. Nope. I don't need. I really don't care. 2, now that we're in the middle of the presidential debate, okay, what you think about Hillary, could care less. What you think about Trump, I'm not here for that. X-nay that too. So I'm finding more and more from the people that I used to get great content from. Now I'm getting this stuff that I really don't want. So I think for a lot of people, especially for those who are like me, who get on LinkedIn every day or at least a couple of times throughout the week, and you're seeing that your what you thought was a great news feed now is getting a little cluttered with mess. So that's one thing that you can do now that you may not have even taken advantage of before. Then the other thing you can do, you can save articles, which is good because I need those for this show.
Right.
But also, I find there are great articles for those who are not on LinkedIn on a regular basis, but people are sharing great content, great written articles from everybody, not from just influencers, just from regular folk, and sharing their perspective, sharing their expertise, how-tos, and things of that nature. And so some of those articles I would like to share, but also to save. So you can now do that with the mobile app. And then for those of you that are still doing search on your desktop, you do know that you can search for hashtags and you can search by topic in your mobile app for the LinkedIn mobile app. So if there is an article or a topic that you want to see something written about, now you can do that better. So those are the 3 new updates that the LinkedIn app has made. So yay for LinkedIn.
Yay for coming to the party. Not at the end, but somewhere 3/4 of the way done now.
Well, technically, everybody's left the dance floor, but the lights are still on. So
exactly. Last call has already happened.
Yeah, the last call for alcohol has already occurred, but you might be able to get one more dance in before the DJ leave. One more.
I love that you always demonstrate.
I like to dance. That's for those
we know.
For those who know, I used to wreck a dance floor, but well, I ain't as young as I used to be. So, nonetheless, so we move on. Here's something else that LinkedIn is doing that I think might be interesting for those of you that are B2B businesses or you own B2B businesses. Everybody knows at this point, reviews really do help you get business. It is what it is. When a vendor and or a customer or even a colleague or somebody that's in a business that's in alignment with yours, they give you a good review, you get business. I mean, it's all about referrals in many cases. So keeping that in mind, LinkedIn has now gone ahead and partnered with 3 review sites. Those review sites are G2 Crowd, IT Central Station, and Trust Radius. Those are the 3 sites that you can put reviews on. Those reviews can then be shared on LinkedIn. And not only will they be shared on LinkedIn, they can be found in your newsfeed. So they'll be searchable on LinkedIn. And now that hashtags are coming back to LinkedIn, I know that's a little scary, even for me. The hashtag is B2B reviews, hashtag B2B reviews. So if you're a B2B business and you are at this point, you still get everything through word of mouth and you need people to write well about your business, you might want to go ahead and check that out. Especially on LinkedIn. So that's my LinkedIn wrap. For a while we didn't talk about LinkedIn at all, but now it seems like they're trying to.
Do I have to tell you why?
No.
Was there something to talk about with LinkedIn? LinkedIn just was. They not that they weren't innovating, but I think that their thing was our audience is the type of audience that wants X. And so they weren't putting in all the bells and whistles that some of the other social platforms had. But the point is to, yes, please the customers you have, but also draw new audiences. And you don't draw new audiences by just doing the same thing all the time. So they realize that, and they're trying, as you said.
Oh yeah, they're trying. They're pulling out the stops because what yesterday I was teaching a class of students, graduate students, about LinkedIn. And when I look at what LinkedIn is doing now just for students, it's just like, y'all don't even know how easy you got it. If we had this when we were college students, just starting out, all this access to information, connecting with people a lot easier, job bye. We could have done well. We did. I mean, we're doing well, but imagine what more we could have done with the tools that these kids have now. So I'm sorry, but I'm not trying to hear y'all's complaints, some of y'all, because you you got it good and you don't even know.
Yeah, we like to complain, don't we?
So Twitter, that's another one. Lord, Twitter. Here's the deal, people. I know, depending on which report you read, Twitter is everything is good with Twitter or everything is bad with Twitter, and they fear that they're about to be sold and we'll never see them again. But technically, I think at this point, Twitter is okay. It's fine. It ain't going anywhere. So once again, don't believe the hyperbole that Twitter is on the decline. Not so. We'll tell you if we find out. Okay. But for those of you that like a little different approach, where your election night coverage, BuzzFeed and Twitter are partnering up to bring you election night coverage. Now that should be a little different, talking about reaching out to a younger demographic. Now, I hear a lot that, young people are deciding not to vote because they don't want to vote for Hillary. They don't want to vote for Trump and everything else. But the reality of it is there are plenty of young people who are active and who are using their right to vote. And this is kind of an attempt by Twitter to get more young people talking and involved in the political process. So I think it's a good thing.
I think so.
You sure?
Yeah, I do. I'm just yeah, no, it actually is a good thing to get them talking and involved in the political process. But the thing is, it can't stop there. It's a talking point and it's a starting point, but there really needs to be more done in terms of civics. And I'm thinking about that because I'm just lamenting how in school they no longer teach civics class. They no longer talk about these things. So you don't go in as an informed young adult with these things. You're just kind of going off of what you hear, what you think, and any biases that you may have.
Mm-hmm.
So there needs to be more done. But I am glad that this is at least a starting point.
I think for branding purposes, I think for BuzzFeed, because usually when we think BuzzFeed, we think satire, we think comedy, we think hee hee ha ha, funny stuff. But that's still true for one element of BuzzFeed. But BuzzFeed now is really seeing itself as a serious media outlet.
Well, they've separated into different departments now. If you remember, this was like probably 3 months back or 4 months back that they now have several different departments, one dealing with video and so on and so forth. So this is part of that effort, I think, to really brand themselves differently. So as opposed to being known as, the people that do the viral videos about fluff, they're really now looking at trying to be taken seriously also as a news outlet. And that's why they're doing this and collaborating on these different types of things. It makes sense. It makes sense.
It does. Okay, so that's my roundup. I got one more thing, but I want to talk about that little app that we were talking about yesterday. When you start talking about that extra little app that you stumbled upon in your research, because these new dating apps, some of these new dating apps are just, oh no, dating is difficult. This is
dating in 2016 is super difficult. You might want to hang on to somebody if you have somebody. So I know I wasn't. You're so silly.
hang on, Alice.
Hang on. Exactly.
Okay.
So what's happening in the world? Since we were talking about the debate in politics, this is a perfect segue into the fact that this was not only the last debate that happened Sunday was not only a great thing for cable news, they were up triple digit year over year with the ratings because of this. It was also great for social media. So YouTube did exponentially well. They had 124 million views, both live and on demand, which is up from 88 million for the first one. So that's pretty good. Also, Twitter, speaking of Twitter, they did a live stream together with Bloomberg Politics broadcast, and they reached 3.2 million unique viewers, which is up 30% from the 2.5 million unique viewers during the first presidential debate. So this really points to the fact that people are interested in consuming their political news, looking at the debates via social media. And who would have thought this before? Who would have thought that you would have been watching a debate through Twitter or YouTube or even Facebook Live when it acts right? So,
right?
Just saying, fix it. Anyway, so
Jesus.
Yes, exactly. Fix me, Jesus. Now that's public domain, so I can sing that. So, so in any case, I think it is really, I keep saying this is the future of how we're going to consume television, how we're going to consume media. It's media with commentary. It's social TV. It's not just about what you tell us. And this shifts the whole thing of agenda setting, because the whole concept of agenda setting from communication says that the media tell you not what to think, but what to think about. So if you are then being influenced by other people that are making comments on these, we're shifting the whole concept of agenda setting. So just something I thought about. Let's move on, shall we?
Shall we?
All right. So Busker. As you know, Busker is the live streaming app debuted. Oh, are we at 4 months old now? We probably are at 4 months old now. And they debuted against this whole landscape of other live stream apps like Facebook Live, of course, Periscope, the now defunct Meerkat, YouNow, Live.me, go on and on and on. So speaking of Live.me, well, Busker has e-commerce, and that the thing that sets it apart is the fact that you can tip people for their performances or for whatever they're saying, and you can also now buy swag. So you could buy a t-shirt from your favorite live streamer on Busker. Pretty cool. Okay, well, Live.me does not want to be outdone. They're about 2 months old now, if that. And yeah, they're about 2 months old. And they now have their own Live.me store. Brands and retailers can sell swag, whatever it is they feel like they want to sell. Also music downloads. And the cool thing is that their shopping experience also enables broadcasters to link to external sites such as Shopify, Spotify, iTunes, and Etsy. So that is revolutionizing. This is the thing with social media. And I know you know this. We're lazy. If I'm going to buy something, it damn well better be within an app or a link that takes me right there, because if I have to search for it after your stream is over, guess what? I'm not buying it.
No.
So, right?
These days it's a 2-click. If I have to click more than twice, you can hang it up. Hang it up. If I gotta I'm gonna click the little link, and then I might click one more time. And if I'm not at that place where I can buy, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Exactly. I mean, I think about, and this is really deplorable, but I think about how many times I have wanted to like give or something to a GoFundMe or something like that. And I've done it, but sometimes if I have to get up and go get the credit card as opposed to just doing it within PayPal, where I click and I can pay in PayPal and not have to get up and look, I do it. But then, what happens is it's like, okay, I'll do it later. And then I forget. I never do it. So If you really want to have people purchase or give or donate, whatever, make sure it's like minimum 2 clicks and make it as easy for them as possible. Should you have to do that? No, but I'm sorry, we're sheeple. You got to do it. Okay.
We're sheeple.
We are sheeple. All I'm telling you is the truth. Bah, okay? We are sheeple.
It's
So
just hashtag just sweet sheeple.
exactly. That's a good hashtag, actually.
No, that's not. Hashtag just sweet sweeple. Don't do that. That was
It's true though. It's
no,
true.
that was me being ha ha he he. But don't do that. Don't do that.
But it is true.
Well, it is. But but what's interesting too is where the live streaming is going. Because at this point, even for those of you who remember Google Hangouts, that's what we're on today, temporarily today. You could do the same thing on Google Hangouts. You could, I think, was it 3 years ago? There's a portion there's a tool within Google Hangouts that will allow you to sell merchandise. It will allow you to sell your album. It will allow you to do that. And once again, the evolution of things. When you've got artists now, especially independent artists, Lord have mercy, the music industry right now is hurting, just hurting. So for those up and coming independent artists that, you make your money, you got to figure out creative ways to make your money. Mm-hmm. And one of the best things you could do, you could go the Bieber and Gaga route and hop up on YouTube or do a live stream and sell your album, get the downloads right there, take out the middleman. It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
It's a beautiful thing. Now, in many instances, and they will take a little bit of what you're earning in some cases, but it's not so much. It's not like it's not like your agent.
Right, or it's not like a major record label. I'd rather that, and then have control over. Now, here's the big thing about the indies and the recording. The fact is that it's distribution. So I always tell students, and I know you probably talk about the same thing, that it's all well and good to have your record label and to do this, but it's about distribution. Mm-hmm. Where distribution is where the sales are. So sometimes, and the thing is, because everything is going online, distribution is getting easier. I remember one of my other co-hosts from another show I'm on, Joe Wilson, said his nephew came to LA and they went to a record store and they were talking about young people and buying music. And his nephew, who's like, I think 15, said, there's no need to buy a physical album anymore. This is how millennials are thinking. And I can't tell you the last time I bought a physical CD. Everything I just download now.
No. LA taught me fast about being so connected to material things, because when my CD stash, my beloved CD stash, my music stash was stolen, all the CDs, everything gone. I learned quick. I learned quick not to get attached to hard physical CDs. And I'm like, I haven't bought a CD in so long now, unless you're one of my favorite artists. If it's not downloadable, I'm looking at you real like that's not downloadable.
It's like the GoFundMe thing. If I can't, I'm not gonna do it. You have to make it simple. So most people, although I love the experience of being in a record store, there are a lot of vintage record shops that still sell vinyl and I love it. I absolutely, there's nothing like it, spending like a rainy day in the record store, just listening to stuff, it's a real experience. It's a real ethereal experience. But the average person doesn't want that.
If you get to LA, don't go into Amoeba Music. And now go into Amoeba Music will take all of your money. Amoeba Music is an experience. You get in there, it's big, it's crates, it's music, it's vintage, it's this, it's new that. They got performances in there, and you will not. I'm trying to tell you. You're like, I came in here. I'm only going to spend $25, $30. I'm only going to spend $25, $30, and then you go down that one aisle, and then you be like, I gotta have this, and now you roll up to the register. That'll be $75, huh?
I didn't mean to do that. And you're calculating in your head and your math is like so wrong. Oh, it's only going to be X, Y, Z. And then you get to and you still are delusional until they tell you, even as they're ringing it up, you're still delusional. Then you're like, huh? Yeah. So I've friends have told me about Amoeba Records, and we have a place like that here not as big as Amoeba, but called Radioactive Records. So, and they sell vinyl and cassettes.
Mm-hmm.
So and they do performances too. So that's,
you're a music lover. Just prepare yourself. Take a friend. That's what you need to do. Take a friend. Take a friend. Because that friend will say, what you doing? What you doing?
Exactly. And it can't just be somebody who will roll with you. It needs to be a friend that'll be like, didn't you just pay mortgage? That's what you need. That right there is what you need. You need to be shamed, because that's the only language sometimes we understand when it comes to purchasing. You need to be shamed in front of folk. And it's like, you know what? I hate you for that. But thank you. That's why you're my friend.
Go in there with your landlord. See what happens.
Exactly. You don't like living under a roof, do you? You know, that type of thing.
Exactly.
So Twitter stock is falling. Of course, it continues to fall. Although, don't believe the hype in it not being relevant. Twitter is still very relevant. It's still, look, most of the news that I get comes from Twitter in those brief 140 snippets. But Twitter, it's still relevant, but the stock itself is dropping. Now, I found this trend that whenever there is an impending sale of a platform or a company, the stock for that company goes up. A sale is looking less likely, which is what is causing the stock to drop. So Monday, the share price was down more than 13% during midday trading. Last Friday's close was $19.85. That represents a 17% drop in share price for last week. That's a lot. 17% is big. Now they're down 27% since October 5th, when they told potential buyers to submit their bids by the end of this month. So, and it's down more than 44% from the trading price a year ago. So almost half of what it was worth a year ago.
I don't know. It just seems to me now, the value that I get out of Twitter. I get so much value out of Twitter.
Absolutely.
But if you go on based on reports and what other people are saying from a business standpoint, then it's like, what value is there to Twitter? There's a lot of value to Twitter. I just don't want people to get into this mindset like Twitter, whatever. It's the new MySpace. No, it's not.
Not at all. Please, you can throw that one in the garbage. No. Not at all. Not at all.
Don't believe the hype, people. Twitter is alive and well. And even though on paper, the value may appear to be depreciating, some things, depending on how you define value, Twitter still has much value. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. And it's not just monetary. Look at all the major movements that have been started or spurred or, furthered on Twitter. So this is a social media thing. And I don't like the whole gossip thing, but all right, this is not really gossip. I don't remember the politician's name. Is she a congresswoman or something from, I can't remember which state, but she made a statement, and this was, that people who support Hillary Clinton are, don't get me lying, but it was something to do with Beyonce, and that people that support Hillary Clinton are being hypocritical about the whole sexual assault thing, the Trump sexual assault thing, because Hillary Clinton likes Beyonce. Oh, that's all the hell you had to say. Don't say anything. Beyonce is like Miss Jenkins for the Beehive. Nobody better say anything bad about Miss Jenkins or the Beehive. They buzzed her. You know what? When the Beehive gets upset, they just put a whole bunch of bee icon emojis in the person's feed at such and such. It was a whole bunch of them. So her feed was full of bees.
Lady, keep certain names out your mouth, okay?
Exactly.
There's certain names you need never, ever put in your mouth, and especially to talk negative about. That would be one. You're gonna be like years ago when somebody it was a Grammys, and Esperanza Spalding won the Grammy and Justin Bieber didn't, and them little Bieber babies, they snatched the girl's Wikipedia page. They just hacked it. I'm trying to tell you, kids nowadays, and not just kids, because not everybody in the beehive is 12. Let's be real.
Exactly.
Not everybody.
There's grown folks in that beehive too.
Thank you. There's some grown folk in the beehive, so don't get it twisted.
There's some people like, you were a senior in high school when I was in kindergarten.
Some people just keep certain names out your mouth. Matter of fact, keep it out your mouth, keep it out your timeline. Just don't mention them.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, well, first of all, her statement was absolute rubbish. So I'm like, you're going to blame Beyonce for that? You're equating her womanhood, her understanding of her femininity with what a sexual abuser does? Okay. So that was number one. But number two,
lady, take many seats and sip on some lemonade for you find a formation on your front lawn.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, and the thing is, let me say this out there for you all in social media land. Simply because you have a platform and a mic doesn't mean you have to say anything. Sometimes you can just sit and be quiet. That's what I suggest she do. Be quiet, lest you be stung. And she certainly was. So moving on from Twitter, The Economist is actually joining Snapchat's Discover feature. They've been growing by leaps and bounds. More media publishers are joining the Discover section. It's not free. So if they're paying for it, and probably Snapchat is charging a pretty penny for that, they probably see some value in it. And The Economist is not a magazine that we would typically think as Snapchat fodder, but they're joining the Discover feature. And what they're going to do is use a theme or a topic, and they'll publish at least 14 top snaps or animated cards, as well as reporting, analysis, charts, maps, videos, and other things from its editorial team worldwide. So their initial edition, which should be out soon if it's not up in the Discover section now, is going to be looking at trying to debunk fears about a jobless future, also exploring the economy's sluggish growth, the on-demand economy, and the impact of robots. These are all hot economy topics, but these are all also things that millennials look at. Okay, so if you're the lower end of millennial, how old are you, 18, 19? Even at the higher end, you're in your 30s. So everybody's looking at, all right, when I get out of school, what kind of job can I get? They're looking at these future forecasts. So The Economist is right on point with being in the Discover section.
Well, go ahead, The Economist, because at this point, it's funny because I was stressing to the students yesterday. I'm like, you know what? Y'all don't even understand how good it is to be your age right now. You have no clue. Everybody is chasing you, trying to attract you, trying to get your attention and keep it. The rest of us have aged out. It's just
absolutely.
like we have to work so hard to get people's attention now. Y'all just get attention just by mere fact that you came out of somebody's womb at a certain time.
Thank you.
Ooh, I had to clean that up real fast, real quick. So
you see.
I have to pat myself on the back for that.
Please do, several times. Yeah, that's the thing, because if you look at all the people that are, quote, influencers, and I can't stand that term, but the people that are influential in social media, who are they picking? Most of these people are millennials, because they're trying to get other millennials to buy product X or use service A.
True. That's where it is. That's where of course, we still have value, people. The rest of us who are not, we're not millennial. Just don't let everybody think we don't have value. We still do. There's people out there that still market to us.
Oh, absolutely. Well, okay, so Gen X, we're Gen X. So yep. We're right before the millennials. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Gen X is still valuable. And I've actually been talking to a lot of companies lately at Social Media Week. They're like, our target is Gen X, because we're the ones, well, in most cases, that have it together. By this point, we may have a home where we may or may not be stable financially, but we basically, for the most part, now I'm talking about a certain range or aspect of Gen X. A lot of us have kids, so there are certain things that we're more valuable for that a millennial might not be. Mm-hmm. So we still have a lot of value. Okay. We're the ones that actually have the money to buy your raggedy products anyway. Pay attention to me. All right. That's fine. Go on and get your little broke college students. I teach them. They don't have any money.
She digresses.
I'm just saying, I'm
Bring
digressing.
it back
No,
in a
it's
minute.
crazy. I said this at a conference. I'm like, I don't know what you all see sitting in your boardrooms, but I'm actually with them. And they're like, I'll just say they spend money on what they want to spend money on. Let's move on to Tumblr.
Yeah,
No,
before, before one
sorry.
of those young people call us a hater, and then
Oh, I love them. I love them to death. I love millennials. I really do. So not Tumblr, but sorry, Google. So they've acquired branded content platform FameBit. So what is FameBit? They're a company that actually connects YouTubers and other influencers with brands. So if you are a YouTuber or YouTube content creator and you're making money, probably you're making it off of sponsorships and paid promotions from brands and making money off of your online, all of your online videos that way. So
Yep.
they're trying to have, Google wants creators to be able to have more opportunities to make money, and this is why they are acquiring FameBit. So if you're a YouTube producer, a Google producer, a whatever, this might be a good move for you. I don't know. Do you produce a lot of content for YouTube?
Not like I used to. When I first started as a blogger, I was knocking out YouTube videos like once a week, and it was work. Red carpet this, celebrity interview that, get it all together, throw it up on YouTube. It was a lot of work, but I think now is a good time, even as an independent filmmaker, if you can get, if you can get a content strategy together such that you can build an audience or put yourself in that kind of brand yourself as that kind of filmmaker, independent filmmaker that wants to work with brands, and you become their go-to. Now is a good time to kind of keep your eye in that kind of direction, because there's so many brands and companies now looking to not necessarily, they want to do native advertising. In other words, we don't want to make it look like an ad. We want to make it look like almost a mini doc or a mini movie. And if you can help us do that and make it fun and make it informative, add a little edge to it or whatever, as independent filmmakers can do, yay, please call us. So there is opportunity there. There's a lot of matter of fact, there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think for example, independent filmmakers, the big thing would be wanting to maintain their art, quote unquote, because you know how it is with filmmakers. Sometimes it's like, oh, well, I don't want to sell out. So some may feel that it's selling out and may use YouTube for promotional purposes, but I don't know, may feel that type of thing is selling out. All I have to say is if you can't get your rent paid, it's all for naught anyway, right?
You're gonna sell out of something. Here as a filmmaker, if you are still seeing yourself as merely just a filmmaker and not a business person and not a business, trust me, your first movie, most independent filmmakers, you don't make any money on your first one. You really don't.
Hell no.
So
or your second or third in most cases.
Yes. So that being the case, it's not, if you're in that mindset of I don't want to sell out. Look, the reality of it is people called MC Hammer a sellout because he was doing something similar back in the heyday of everybody was trying to be hard. And now look at these same people 30 years, 20 something years later, aligning themselves with brands and companies and doing commercials for tacos and everything else known to man. So
my thing is, as long as you agree with the product, as long as you're not sacrificing your soul for it, I have no problem with it. So, it's touchy. And Morgan Spurlock actually looks at this whole concept and his great documentary, the greatest movie ever sold. Did you ever see that documentary?
Nope.
Awesome. I really love Morgan Spurlock, and he funds the making of the entire documentary through brands. So the whole thing is about making a documentary and getting it funded through brand, and it's brilliant. It's a brilliant study in product placement. I use it in class all the time, but watch it if you can.
Okay.
So This ProfaneBit actually has worked with other brands before: Marvel, Paramount, Sony, L'Oreal. The list goes on, and they've been able to the deals that they've brokered between creators and brands have resulted in more than 25,000 branded videos. That's about 2 billion minutes of viewing time. That's money. So Amazon On Demand, well, not on demand, but their music streaming service is now up. For those of you who are into Amazon, it's called Amazon Music Limited. The main thing that makes this different is that the price. So they're competing with Spotify and Apple Music and Google Play Music. For Amazon Prime members, the service is going to be $7.99 per month or $79 a year, cheaper than the premium options for Spotify or Apple Music. And $3.99 if you want the plan for your voice control device for your Echo. Okay, so the thing about the Echo plan is if you get that, it's only for Echo, meaning you could not play it on another device. The Echo just gets you the Echo. You have to have the $7.99 to have the full thing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's the thing that is really their big thing, the integration with their voice control devices. Unlike, Spotify and Apple Music, which are really looking at other things, that's their big thing, that integration. And that's the whole, we talked about this, the Internet of Things. That's that whole integration of your devices. And I think that's a brilliant move by them.
Very, very brilliant move, indeed. Yay for brilliant.
Yay. So, I think I just have a couple more pieces of wonderful news for us. Let's talk about.
I want to get to your.
Talk about Snapchat and Auto Advance.
Oh, that's right, Snapchat. Well, it's very, very, very brief. At the end of the day, for those of you that are on Snapchat, the update is literally you can now watch stories, but they don't auto. What do you call it? Auto
advance.
Auto advance. That's the word I'm looking for. So now you can actually you'll soon have a playlist, and instead of immediately jumping right into the next story, you can now do so. You can now watch the stories at your leisure. Yay! So,
yay!
Yay!
Because that was bothering me because I'm a heavy snapper. So bye, Felicia.
So now you can pause a little bit and now move on to the next story as you want, as opposed to kind of being forced to watch the next thing.
Exactly.
Which is probably the goal anyway, when you think about it.
True that.
Yes. I want to get to your to the app stuff because
that's where I am now.
Okay.
That's where I am now. So we're talking dating apps, and you have one as well. So this app is called Hinge. Hinge is not new, but they've revamped the app completely. So most dating apps, ever since Tinder came out, the thing with dating apps is the swipe left or the swipe right, and the swiping thing. Everybody was on that, and so Hinge also used that as well. So Hinge is an app that is you connect with people based off of your mutual Facebook friends. Don't know that I like that, but in any way, that's everybody in one's business.
That's too much. That's like vampires. No.
Exactly. It's a little bit of an incestuous relationship, if you ask me. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So now Hinge is a year old. They're rolling out a newly designed, a redesigned app. You're no longer going to swipe left or right on anything. It's completely eliminated. So according to Karen Fine, who's Hinge's vice president of marketing, she says that 70% of users are looking for something more serious than free swiping apps offer. So this is why they're going to that. They want to deliver a more serious experience. So now instead of swiping, you're going to open the app and be directed to a message screen that will show messages and notifications from people you've spoken with or people who have expressed interest in you. And that's supposed to be, according to Fine, the Instagram for dating. See, you can't get Facebook out of anything. So yeah, that's the, if you find one you like, you can heart that element and a message bar will pop out where you can say something about that specific element. If you press send, that person will receive the inbound interest and can decide whether they want to connect and start chatting with you. So that's Hinge, and not a new app, but changes, significant changes to Hinge.
Okay, so my app news is wet. No, you know, well, it's called Sweat.
Sweat. Oh,
It's called
yeah, wet. I was like, what is wet? Sweat is wet.
It's what, yeah. If you can do dry sweat, you know,
That would be painful.
it would, and kind of toxic for your body too. But nonetheless, this thing now, I say it's wet because, and it's called Sweat, not SWEATT. If you Google Sweat, you're gonna come up with some other stuff. So add that extra T on the end of it. This is an app for those of you who are gym rats. For those of you that love going to the gym 6 days, 7 days a week. You work out that often?
Mm-hmm.
I work out too. I work food in and out of my mouth in various repetitions, 3 times.
That's deplorable.
Sometimes 2 times a day.
That's deplorable.
Throughout 7 days a week. So that's my workout. So Sweat basically helps you find an individual, your next little boo, who has a similar kind of workout ethic, similar interest and diet as you. Now, let's say they call it's like a Tinder. You know, people get on Tinder and just get real crazy. So they're kind of saying it's like Tinder and something called ClassPass. I don't know what ClassPass is, but the algorithm matches people based on how often and when they work out. And they're also matching people based on their favorite classes or activities and your sort of diet preferences. So if you're somebody who's on the paleo diet, or you're somebody who's doing the all raw type thing, then you can find somebody to go eat with, because you don't want to go out with me and you're
it's not gonna be me.
You know what? You're not gonna eat that for real?
Not as my
Yeah.
raw. I could do raw, but that's not gonna be my major thing. And paleo. Well,
Ooh, almost sang that Busta Rhymes song. No, that's ODB. You know the hip hop song, Ooh Baby.
Yes.
See, I stopped myself. I was right there, and I stopped myself. So
I'm proud of you. You've exhibited so much restraint today.
Haven't I?
You have.
But here's the thing. Here's where people are gonna mess Sweat up. The name already kind of is like down the slippery slope. Of course, they want people to add profile pictures, you know, because it's you're supposed to be about your health. So of course, people want to know what you look like. Now, of course, that also means people are probably going to be dressing less because they want to show off, you know, their muscles and and them curves and the abs. But you already know, soon as you start putting that picture of you like guys used to do on Black Planet back in the day, where they be all muscle coming out the shower with socks on and a towel.
Not Black Planet and not socks and a towel.
That was it. What was it? You all muscle, and then you got the towel over your shoulder and socks, and then you turn to the side a little bit. It's just like, really? So
take off the damn socks.
I don't know what it is about men and their feet, but nonetheless. So this particular app, they're claiming this is not supposed to be a hookup app, people. It's not. It's really supposed to, get people together who like to work out, who about that health life or about that workout life, the gym rats. Y'all have something in common. It is not supposed to be the hookup app. However, once you already know people, once they start posting pictures of themselves, especially women, because you know how we do, we got to put a picture of ourselves and, in something tight, showing off our abs. And then as the one girl was pictured, her foot is up here by above her head. leaning up against the wall. She's popular.
Stop it. Stop it.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, let's be real. Not that you should not be able to put up whatever type of picture you like, but it does look. People that are would be attracted to that are not thinking very far beyond that. So, yeah, you probably should just use a little, what do you want to call it? Decorum when selecting a picture to put up.
The who?
Decorum.
Are they what, cousins? Duh and Corum? Come on, you already know people are beginning, especially females, because we mess it up every time, don't we? We always got to put more booby, we got to put more of this, we got to do more of that. And it's like, it really wasn't you. We're not here for that. Well, maybe you are, but the rest of us are trying to find somebody that I can go to a vegan restaurant with, but
and eat quinoa.
Or and they actually know how to pronounce it correctly. To find somebody who can pronounce certain things correctly, that could be your love match. But I guarantee people are going to mess it up, hands down.
Oh, it's already written in the stars. That's messed up, sure as day.
Sure as day. I mean, you called it sweat. That was your first problem right there. You could have called it something else, but no, you called it sweat.
I think they were trying to be, cute and cool. And it is a cool name, but the problem is there's so much double entendre with that.
And my middle name is double entendre. So
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It is Alice double entendre Fuller.
Exactly. Exactly.
It is. So that said, you got something else to add?
I have one more thing that we talked about this yesterday. One more piece of news. That cover girl now has a cover boy.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. And so this is pretty big, and I'm sure you've seen this on social media, that CoverGirl announced 17-year-old James Charles is going to be the first male face of CoverGirl, kicking off their campaign to promote their new mascara, So Lashy. And he's a makeup artist and a social media influencer. Again, here we go, influencer. And according to them, he has about 435,000 followers, and he's known for defying gender roles. And he usually shares photos of himself in elaborate makeup, things that women typically use, right? So this announcement was made in an Instagram post, and it was shared by Katy Perry, who was a CoverGirl brand ambassador, and showing her with Charles. And then he followed up with a video on his own account. So of course, everybody was making comments on social media. I'm so proud of you, and taking to Twitter to share the news. So this actually became a big social media phenomenon. The fact that now CoverGirl has the cover boy.
That's the evolution. Because I think at this point, there's something I can already hear. There's going to be a whole population of people that are just like clutching the pearls. But the reality of it is, get over it, people. This is where we are. This is the evolution of things. I don't even want to go down that.
But you don't clutch pearls when certain politicians say certain
things. Leave it alone, Tati.
Okay. No, I'm not going to go into it. I'm just saying.
That's why I stopped myself. Leave it alone. All I'm going to say is I need CoverGirl. Y'all need to go look at B. Scott. That's a beautiful individual. B. Scott. Hey, B. Scott. Should you ever watch this? That's a beautiful individual. You just look at.
Well, it's interesting that they chose James, because he is really, and if you've ever seen these models, these women models that are androgynous looking, that they could be either a boy or a girl, but they're women. This is what he looks like.
Have you seen B. Scott?
I've never seen B. Scott.
Please, I have got to send you a link to B. Scott. And when I tell you, he's got everything you need. He got the angles. He's got the pretty. He's got the talent.
He's a pretty somebody, huh?
Painful. You're like, you know what? I'm trying not to hate on you as a female. I'm really trying, but it's just oozing out of me despite all of my efforts. It's just oozing out of me despite all of my effort. That's a beautiful dude. So, yeah, if any, yeah, he could rock a cover of anything, anything. So,
Wow.
so if that's where we're going, somebody holla at B. Scott. And trust me, when I say he's an influencer, he's been around a minute. He has a huge following, has had a huge following for a long time. I'm not just talking about somebody that you wouldn't deem quote unquote an influencer. He is. He was an influencer before the word was even.
Oh yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Because I remember reading his stuff and his blog like well before this age of viral social media and influencers. He was, yeah, he's a quote influencer before the.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't know what he looks like?
I don't. I've always read the blog. I've not seen him.
Okay, we're gonna fix that. We're going to fix that.
Fix it.
Yes. All right. So that's it. It is Friday, people. Have a blessed weekend. Be safe. Have a good time. Come back next week. We'll be on same time. Hopefully, we'll be on time, and we're gonna figure out what happened with the whole Facebook API thing today because we tried do 2 different platforms and it just was not working. So that's why we ended up on YouTube today. So nonetheless, thank you, YouTube. Yay, because we had options.
Thank you, YouTube. Yeah, at least we did have an option. So thank you.
Yes. Any parting words from you, Tachi? Any parting words?
Just have a great weekend. Make it a great one because I know I'm going to have a great one.
I know you are too.
Yeah.
Okay, so bye-bye, people. Have a good weekend.
Bye. Peace.